We're going live. I don't think you need to.
Hey, everybody out there in fantasy sports land. Welcome to MFSN The Hub and our weekly show. Today, we're talking fantasy baseball. Last couple weeks, we've gone over all the fantasy player previews, but we're done with those. So before I tell you what we're going to do, let me introduce myself. I'm Casey Vlad to the Bone, and I'm here with the ever-present, ever-knowledgeable, and ever-entertaining Ross the Boss.
Hey, everybody, I'm Ross the Boss, and welcome to March Madness first day, Casey. We've seen some upsets. I know we're not talking college basketball. I gotta address it. It's the talk of the town here in Los Angeles. We got baseball going on. We already had two Major League Baseball games from Korea.
I know.
The Dodgers got killed last night. Yamamoto did not look like Yamamoto. He looked like Quasimodo.
He looked like Quasimodo. Yeah.
He pitched one inning, 5 runs. I mean, he just got destroyed. But the night before, Glasnow pitched. He looked great. So we have baseball going on. Hopefully your fantasy teams are set. But if they're not, you can always look back at our old tapes and you can get some advice that we give people for free. Yeah, I said free. And Casey, we're talking bold predictions. You're a Yankee fan, so saying the Yankees will win the East is not a bold prediction.
No, it's not a bold prediction, but I'm also not saying it. So
we'll make sure.
When Garrett Cole is out for the first couple months and they didn't sign any of the big pitchers or trade for a big pitcher, I don't have high hopes for them finishing in the top, maybe third in the East, unless they play out of their minds. But today is the first day of March Madness, and I know this is a baseball show, but did Duquesne beat BYU? Did it finish with Duquesne?
Duquesne won.
And Michigan State crushed Mississippi State.
They always win. I mean, you always got to take Michigan State in the NC in the first round, especially. I mean, I had that in my pool. I had Duquesne with the points. I did bet the points in Duquesne. That's a small school in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, which is too far from you. And
it's
the most famous alumni they have is Norm Nixon, who played for the Lakers back in the Showtime days. So there you go.
There you go. All right. So let's get to baseball. Ross, I have good predictions. So predictions for people who are going to outperform or do very well that are a little bold.
Okay.
And then I have some predictions in the other direction too, where people are going to just utterly disappoint fantasy owners. So why don't you go first? Give me what's your favorite bold prediction?
My favorite bold prediction is I'm a Reds fan. I say the Reds win the National League pennant. They'll score close to 1,000 runs this year. They're going to score tons of runs. I know McLean is hurt. I get it. I understand it doesn't matter. They have a lot of hitting. They have better pitching. And I just have a feeling it's going to be a great year for the Cincinnati Reds. That's a bold prediction because I'm saying they're going to win the NL.
That's bold to say they're winning the pennant when you got the Dodgers and the Braves and the Diamondbacks, the Phillies.
But you said bold prediction. So I
like
predict
it.
I predict the Reds. And then on the other side, let's talk American League. I think they win the American League Central. Okay, I'll just say that.
Okay.
I see the Kansas City Royals are going to win the Central in the American League. I think the most improved team in baseball is Kansas City. They brought in a lot of guns. They brought in a lot of hitting, and those are my two bold predictions when it comes to teams. There you go.
All right. I didn't make team predictions, but I'll give you this one sounded bolder than yesterday than it does today. I was going to say, I said that Shoto Imanaga finishes as a better fantasy pitcher and rookie fantasy pitcher than Yamamoto, which sounded really good yesterday. After his performance of 1 inning, 5 earned runs and 3 walks or whatever it was in there, it's suddenly Yamamoto is going to be like a cold name. But I think Imanaga in Chicago, the guy the Cubs got for cheap, is being a little undervalued. His peripherals aren't that much worse. Now, he was pitching in Korea versus Japan for Yamamoto, but they both were pretty darn dominant in Asia.
No, I also love the kid that pitches for the Padres, Matsui. I love him too.
Well, I think he's going to be a closer. I nearly put him down for being, by the end of the season, he's going to lead the Padres in saves.
That's a great prediction. I picked him up in our fantasy dynasty league doing that because I don't think Suarez is going to be their closer for that long.
No, I just don't see him holding
it. And Matsui, it's a control thing with him. He does walk some people, so we'll see what he does. But I mean, again, the Padres, I don't have them winning more than 80 games this year. But again, like I said in our closer show, it doesn't matter how many games your team wins. It matters how many runs.
as long as they're close games that you win,
yeah,
right?
there you go. Yeah.
All right, give me another one.
Another one that I like, Casey, is your guy in the Yankees. No one's picking Anthony Rizzo in fantasy baseball. I mean, they kind of disregarded him. They're kind of over him. I disagree. I feel he's going to come back and he's going to have like, I would say between 35 and 40 home runs and 110 RBIs. I mean, that's my prediction if he plays every day. Health is sometimes an issue with him, just like last year. He was on the DL a lot of the year. But if he's healthy in New York with that little short field in right
in that
field,
lineup,
in that lineup, I like Rizzo, and he's undervalued. I mean, he's somebody I would keep an eye on. But I feel he's going to open some eyeballs in New York, especially.
I like
Judge
that pick.
Soto there. Yeah.
My issue with Rizzo is it's back issues that always keep him out, and back is something that's chronic. It's not like an issue that can just be a freak injury. It just seems like I worry about if he plays 120 games, I'll be super happy as a Yankees fan. And I agree. If he plays 120 games this year, he's going to hit you 25 plus home runs and drive in a bunch of runs. So that's a good pick. My Yankees bold prediction is that Juan Soto finishes as the number 2 player in fantasy this year. I'm predicting 340, 40 home runs, 120 RBIs, 130 runs scored. I just think
Casey, he was drafted like top 10. I mean,
I understand that, but
how's that a bold prediction?
It's still bold. 120 RBIs, 130 runs scored.
I get that's pretty. That's MVP quality.
He's never hit more than 33 home runs in a season. I'm predicting 40. So I agree. It's not as bold as like I have Jesus Luzardo.
Defensive. Let's save Jesus Luzardo. That's a great one, but let's save him.
Okay, go ahead. Well, if you're going to criticize my picks, I'm going to defend
I don't criticize we question. We don't criticize.
Okay,
we question your pick. We question. We say, Casey, Soto was drafted probably average draft position, ADP, we call that, is probably about 4 or 5, 6
somewhere around there. Yep.
Okay. So, but I mean, your numbers are huge. I mean, if he has 130 RBIs, 120 runs score, I mean, geez,
he'd be number 1 if he ran.
This guy, Casey, I know he plays in a small market. I know the team's horrible.
Ted? Go ahead.
But I love CJ Abrams. I feel he's going to have over 50 stolen bases this year. He'll have 20 something home runs, and he's going to hit for average. I mean, he's going to be a monster in fantasy baseball. I mean, I know you're saying, Ross, I can't watch this. I was almost calling them the Senators. Isn't that funny? That's how old I am. I played for the Senators in Pony League. But they went around. Just so you know, they went around when I played. They just, but the Nationals are going to be bad. They're not going to be good. I get it, and I get you don't want to watch a bad team. But CJ Abrams is going to be a very good player. And he's young, and he's a stud. And I think
he was one of the centerpieces of the Juan Soto trade with the Padres, and
I think I think he's going to be a star breaking out this year. So there you go. Okay, what's your bold prediction?
Jesus Luzardo finishes 2nd in the Cy Young behind.
Ooh, I love it.
Only Spencer Strider, and he ends up with 230 strikeouts, 170 plus innings, maybe 180 innings, 230 strikeouts for Luzardo. I just think he's filthy, and I think he's figured it out. And this is the year he puts it all together. And if Strider gets hurt, because that was one of my I was tempted to put that as a bold prediction on the other side. I think Luzardo could be the Cy Young winner in the National League.
Wow. I mean, think about that. The only reason I don't like it is because he plays on a bad team and they're not going to score many runs for him. And I just you gotta look at Tyler Glasnow now, because if he's healthy, he's going to come close to that Heisman trophy. He's going to come close to the Cy Young award. And also you said Strider, and then, Max Fried. I mean, you got some,
there are great pitchers in you got Yamamoto. You got.
My question to you is this. This is the question I have for you. And it's going to be a bold prediction on your part. It has to be. American League. Cole is gone. He's not going to win the Cy Young this year. He's gone until June or July. Okay, I know you're upset. I know Uncle Ted is crying himself. Who's your front runner to win the Cy Young this year in the American League, because I was making my future bets. I made a whole bunch of like long shots. I mean, I was like going crazy. But who do you think is going to win the Cy Young in the American League?
I think it's either going to be Corbin Burns in Baltimore.
Okay, that's like okay. That's
Luis
not really
Castillo. Luis
okay,
Castillo
you're
in
getting
Seattle.
a little more bolder as we go along.
And one of my bold predictions is Bailey Ober. Bailey Ober in Minnesota finishes in the top 3 in the Cy Young voting. He's filthy, and he's like 6'7", 6'8", throws straight cheese at these people, and I just think he's underrated.
And then I like your guy in Kansas City. I like Cole Reagan's.
I worry about the innings limit with him. I'm not sure if they're gonna.
I love him, and then I love Pablo Lopez for Minnesota. I think he has filthy stuff too, but it's not really full prediction. And I like Uncle Ted's prediction, not Hunter Brown, not the dark horse, Skirball of Detroit.
Tariq Skubal, yeah. If he stays healthy, yeah.
I mean, he has filthy stuff, and Detroit. I mean, we talk about Detroit. I mean, they have young studs playing the outfield and infield. They have pitching. They have relief guys. I mean, they can win that Central. I know I said Kansas City, but Detroit's not a bad team this year. I think they'll win 80-something games. How about that?
No, and
that's another bold prediction.
There you go. Uncle Ted also pointed out Bailey Ober, who I just talked about, and Cutter Crawford in Boston. I like Cutter Crawford.
Love the name. Hold on. Let me just tell you the name, Cutter. I wish I named my son that. That's a great name. I mean, if you name your son Cutter, he's for sure going to be like a stud athlete. For sure. There's no doubt.
I have as one of my bold predictions, just to get back to Cutter Crawford, I think Nick Pivetta actually in Boston ends up as a top 15 pitcher this year. What people realize is of pitchers who pitched at least 140 innings last season, he was third in K rate with 11.5 strikeouts per 9 innings. Only Spencer Strider and Blake Snell struck out more per 9 than Nick Pivetta. So there you go. Give me another bold prediction.
I think Nolan Gorman of St. Louis is going to have
second baseman. Yeah.
Yeah, he's going to have like 45, 50 home runs. I mean, he
had
a great year last year. I think he's just going to tear it up this year with home runs. I don't know. His batting average will probably be in the mid 250, 260. Doesn't matter. This guy's going to have a ton of home runs. I just feel big year for this guy, Gorman. We'll see what happens. It's a bold prediction. I know I'm crazy, but I'm just telling you, I think we'll hear his name around the MVP voting. Just hear it from me first. That's it.
There you go. All right. How about this one? Chas McCormick is close to or goes 30-30 and finishes as a top 15 fantasy outfielder this year. Chas McCormick last year played
I like it.
He played 75%, I think, of games. I have it written down here. Hold on. Where do I have it?
I think you're right. I think it was
75% of the time, and was still only 1 stolen base shy of 2020. This year, he's the starting center fielder, I think, full time. If you add 5 to 10 of each, he's a 30.
I like
30
it.
player.
I mean,
and he's underrated. You can get him in the 10th, 11th, 12th round of drafts.
Will he play every day in Houston, you think? Or do you think?
Yes, they're saying he's the everyday center fielder.
Okay.
You have Tucker and Wright. Crowded. You have Tucker and Wright, but they don't have any other center fielders. They can put Alvarez out there sometimes.
He's DH,
right? Yeah.
I thought they had somebody else. I thought they got somebody in free agency. I forget who it is, but it doesn't matter. My other bold prediction, this isn't really bold, but I'll just say it.
Look at Uncle Ted's. Hold on. He says Yandy Diaz will lead the AL in home runs.
That's a bold prediction. I was going to say something. I was going to say something you're crazy, but I'm not going to say that. I just said that's a bold prediction. See what I did? I corrected myself.
Well done.
That's a great bold prediction because it's something that would never come to my mouth. It would never come to my mouth. Yandy Diaz will lead the league in home runs ever, ever, ever. But when it comes from you and it's a bold prediction show, I'm like, yeah, why not?
That's what you're supposed to do.
I say Evan Phillips leads the Major League Baseball in saves this year. How about that for the Dodgers?
Wow.
So Dodgers you say he's 100. He'll lead the whole league. I mean,
Okay, so
that's a
you
bold
think he keeps
prediction.
the job all year?
I think it's to lose, but I think he'll keep the job. He looked great last year. Again, I'm not a Dodger fan. Trust me, I despise the Dodgers. But I think Evan Phillips is going to have a great year, and I think I've been taking bets from some of the Dodgers team members. Is there anything going on with the Dodgers and gambling or anything? Did you hear anything?
I've heard some rumors about it. Uncle
Uh,
Ted thinks Camille Duvall will lead the majors in saves. He's going up
that's
the
it.
road for you from
I
you. So
like Duval too. It's just San Francisco. They got Blake Snell. I mean, I think
well,
Blake Snell between us, bold prediction on Blake Snell. He's going to have a bad year. I say his
if you want,
ERAs.
I have it written right here. Blake Snell ends up a terrible signing. You can't read it, but that was one of my bold predictions on the other side. 4.7 ERA, 1.4 WHIP.
I love it. I don't think Snell's going to have a great year. I think I just think he's on the downspin of his career. But I could be again. It's a bold prediction.
Well, no, my reason for him being terrible is because he hasn't had a spring training. And how many pitchers have you seen arrive late because they held out so long, end up being really effective in their first year? It just doesn't happen that frequently.
No.
So,
okay. Yeah, I agree. Go ahead.
Francisco Alvarez.
Yep. Catcher.
Finishes as the number one catcher with 35 home runs, 100 RBIs, and a 260 plus batting average.
I love it.
Brings back the memories of Mike Piazza there in the Mets.
I love it. Now, this is not really a bold prediction, but I'll say it anyway, just because I feel he's going to lead the league in home runs. I say it's going to be Pete Alonso of the Mets because he's in a contract year. He's a free agent after this year, and he has a really bad deal right now in New York. He gets paid peanuts. And I say the Mets need this. I say he's going to just blossom this year. He's going to have close to 60 home runs for Pete Alonso just because it's a contract year for him. So that's my bold prediction. Aaron Judge, all those other guys will not be leading the Major League Baseball. It's going to be Pete Alonso of the Mets.
Okay. O'Neal Cruz chases 40-40.
Love it. O'Neal Cruz. Now he plays for the Red Sox, right?
O'Neal Cruz plays for the Pirates.
O'Neal Cruz, the shortstop. I was thinking Tyler O'Neill or something. I was thinking of another player. So, yeah, I mean, he was hurt last year, and he's having a great spring training. I mean, he's doing great. He's 6'7", Casey. He's
he's huge.
He's 230, 6'7". That's bigger than Uncle Ted. I mean, this guy's almost. This guy is just not built like a shortstop or an infielder. He's built like a linebacker. And I agree with you. I mean, he had great potential last year, and he was playing great until he got hurt. That was a horrible injury. But I like that O'Neal Cruz pick. I thought you were talking about Tyler O'Neill that plays for the Red Sox.
For Boston.
Yeah, I got mixed those guys up. But I know they don't look like each other. I know they're totally different looks, but it doesn't matter. But I like that pick. I like him a lot. I like Cruz. I think he's going to have a good year. Now, what's your thoughts on De La Cruz for the Reds?
Well,
I mean,
I have him on my back.
His strikeout rate, Casey, in spring training, horrible. I mean, this guy strikes out like 80% of the time right now. It's like horrible.
I put him as my number one bold on the other side. I said Ellie De La Cruz fails to learn how to hit lefties and spends time in Louisville this summer.
I hope you're wrong. I mean,
I hope I'm wrong too, because I actually own him on one of my teams, and I like him. But
bold, but I'm hoping he leads the league in stolen bases because I made a future bet on that. But
just so you know, Uncle Ted is currently ranting in the comments about Ohtani, saying he's going to be in jail and his contract's going to be voided. Listen, and he's using some colorful language. So, Uncle Ted, I would love to put him on the screen, but I think if I put the colorful language on the screen, I'm not allowed to.
You can do a bold prediction on Ohtani. I mean, you could say Ohtani is going to be banned from baseball. I mean, if you want,
that's what he's saying.
I mean,
he's going to be Pete Rose point too.
Well, again, he was gambling on Premier League soccer. That's what.
Yeah, it was soccer and
not
basketball.
So there's a huge difference. But I have a million questions. He won't answer any questions. The press were all over his locker room yesterday. He wouldn't answer anything. He was stormed out. I don't know what the story is. I don't know how a guy that's a translator affords to pay bookies millions of dollars.
That's a heck of a marker.
Maybe I should have took Japanese in college and learned how to be a translator. I could have made millions. I'm an idiot. And the guy's translator has that's for sure a hairpiece, Casey. I mean, that hair is
It's a
ridiculous.
beard. Yeah, it seems like a beard to
I
me.
mean, it
Okay.
looks like a wig. But Uncle Ted, I agree with you. I think the facts have to come out. I'm not going to say anybody's guilty quite yet, but there's a lot more to that story. You're 100%
Yeah, it
right.
seems. And yeah. All right. Do you have any other bold predictions on the good side? I have two more.
I have a lot. I can keep on
Okay.
going, but I say Nelson Vasquez of
Velasquez.
I say he's for Kansas City, 35 home runs, 100 RBIs. He's going to have a monster year in Kansas City.
Wow.
This guy's a stud. And
Tough park to do it in.
I know, I get it.
That's what makes it bold, though, right?
I have to give some bold predictions. So there you go. I think Nelson in Kansas City is going to have a great year.
How about this? The closer for the Phillies by July 1st.
I'm listening.
Orion Kerkering.
I couldn't point him out in a who? I couldn't point him out in a piece lineup, Casey. Tell me why you think that.
He was drafted in the 5th round out of 2022 and made it all the way to the majors in one season. He didn't do great in the NLCS. They actually had him pitch in the NLCS, but he's got filthy stuff. And the Phillies don't have a surefire closer. And this guy, I think he figures it out. I think he ends up being the closer for the Phillies.
I like it. I hope you're right. That's a great bold prediction. I'm going to pick him up right now in our fantasy.
I'm enjoying Uncle Ted right now. $1 billion. He could afford Rosetta Stone. He uses a translator as a buffer from people. You're right. I just think that's funny. Well said.
Again, Kay, I don't know. Again, I don't want to comment. I don't want to bury somebody before I know the facts. But the big red flag is it's millions of dollars that were transferred, and this translator to a mob bookie. But how does the translator make these kind of bets when he's making not that much money compared to some people that he knows? So somebody had to be right. But
somebody had to be his guarantee.
I mean, let's just talk. I mean, he was gambling on Premier Soccer leagues. He wasn't gambling on football, hockey, nothing else.
I thought he said he was also doing NBA and college basketball, but I could be wrong.
I didn't see that. I just saw Premier Soccer.
I could be wrong. I'm not.
Yeah. Again, I don't know the facts. I mean, I'm not going to bury a guy, I mean, but there's a lot of red flags. This is the poster guy for Major League Baseball. So I don't think they can ban him this guy is like the face of baseball. What are you going to do? It's like banning Ted from our show. We can't.
I know. We've tried.
Yeah, I know. Whose turn is it? Go.
Okay. I have another pitcher in Miami racking up 200 strikeouts with Braxton Garrett, Yuri Perez, and Cabrera all hurt. I think AJ Puck gets a chance to start and ends up just proving how filthy he was. Remember what a high draft pick he was for the Oakland Athletics several years ago because he was this Randy Johnson-esque left-handed pitcher. I think he's finally starting to put it together. So I think he ends up with 200 strikeouts this year.
I love that prediction. That's a bold prediction. I mean, your other predictions were kind of like, I don't know about Soto. That's not really that bold, but that was a great one, Casey. I like him. I'm going to also predict. Again, I'm not a big Dodger guy, just because their lineup is so potent, and just because it's like they have so many big names on that, so somebody else has to get hits. I think Will Smith is going to be close of leading league in RBIs. I say he has over 120, 130 RBIs this year, just because where he hits in that lineup, and pitchers have to throw fastballs at him because they don't want to walk him. I mean, he's going to get so many opportunities, getting people in. So my prediction is Will Smith leading the National League in RBIs. How about that, Casey Schoenfeld?
Nice. Well, you said Pete Alonso as a good thing. I said home runs. I said Pete Alonso struggles while distracted with his contract situation. Bats around 210 and only hits 30-ish home runs.
That's a good counterpoint, but I don't know. I'm not a Met guy, and neither are you.
Oh, I love Pete. I love the polar bear. I
do like Pete Alonso. I think he's a good guy, and he's a good guy in baseball. So I'm kind of rooting for him because I really want to stick him to the Mets, because they didn't sign him. They didn't renegotiate his contract. They just let him play. while everybody else they brought in was making millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars. So yes, I think that he'll have a good year, but hopefully, I'm hoping you're wrong with that bold prediction.
That and the Ellie De La Cruz one.
Well, the worst team in baseball, KC Scheinfeld, I'll say it, and they'll have the worst record, and all my Chicago friends are going to be mad at me, but I don't really care. It's going to be the Chicago White Sox. The White Sox will lead the league with the worst record. I know there's Oakland, but I think Oakland's going to have a better year than Chicago. I really do.
Ironically, I went with Colorado.
Colorado's up there too, but I'm taking the White Sox for the worst record in Major League Baseball. How about that? Take that, Uncle Ted.
Yeah, and I could see that, actually. That makes a lot of sense.
Okay, well, KC, it's your turn. There better be
Cody.
good.
This isn't that bold, so I'm going to put this out there first.
When we say Cody Bellinger, my ears open up because
Cody Bellinger becomes 2022 Cody Bellinger again and hits below 200.
I hate that prediction. Why
I don't like any of the failure predictions. I don't like to predict failure, but
I hate that prediction. I have Cody in our fantasy league. Why are you dishing my guy? And I'm friendly with his mom, Jennifer.
And I'm sure she's lovely.
She does. She sells homes in Phoenix, Arizona. Nice lady. Even if you're home in Phoenix, you know who to call, Jennifer.
Bellinger.
Yeah. Is it my turn?
Yep.
How about this, KC Scheinfeld? Are you ready? Cy Young, National League. Justin Steele is your winner. What do you know with that one?
Wow. That is bold. Justin Steele.
You're
going in Chicago. The other city is Chicago.
Going to the Cubs. Justin Steele was filthy last year.
Can you answer this one for Uncle Ted?
Yeah.
What does it say? Shoto Imanaga will have a better year than Yamamoto.
Yeah,
I said that at the start of the show.
We started the show with that. I mean, I've been seeing that around the internet too, so it's not like it's nothing new for me. But
how about this one?
I think
Justin Steele might be the boldest pick of them all. By the way, the boldest prediction of all of yours so far. The Rangers needed pitching and didn't get it. They missed the playoffs. Not only do they not win the division but they don't even make the play. They don't even get one of the 3 wild card spots.
Yeah, I mean, it's so easy to make the playoffs now compared to years ago.
Which makes
it's a nice bold prediction. You're saying the World Series winners will not be in the playoffs, which is interesting. I appreciate that as a bold. That's a bold prediction. I'm not going to say it's bolder than the Soto pick, and I will agree with. I mean, I think the Rangers have enough hitting to make it into the playoffs, but I don't know how deep. But I agree with you. And remember, DeGroom's coming back, and so is Schellinger. I mean,
Scherzer.
How do you say it? Scherzer. He's coming back too. By All-Star break, both those guys should be back in the rotation. So if they can just tread water until then, and they have those 2 guys coming back, I think that's enough to get them into the playoffs. I think, but you never know.
I think there's a lot of good teams right now in the American League, and I don't think they're going to be better necessarily. They're not better than Houston. I don't think they're going to be better than Seattle this year in the West. So they're going to be looking at the bottom half of the wild card rankings, and you're up against the Yankees and the Rays and the Red Sox and the Blue Jays so I just think there's teams. And we talked about Detroit being better. The Twins are decent. Kansas City, you have as a bold prediction. That whole Central
is like anybody can win that Central.
Right.
All the teams are about the same. They
all play each other a lot.
Except the White Sox. But yes, it's Cleveland, all those teams, they're all like mediocre, and they're all going to lose in the first round of playoffs. And we all know that's going to happen, KC Scheinfeld. Let's talk now. Let's make bold predictions on like Rookie of the Year, American League. Who do you like, KC Scheinfeld?
Well, as a bold prediction, Rookie of the Year
candidate? Well, it could be anybody. I mean, I want to figure out what your thoughts on Jackson Holiday, and if he's the real deal or is just.
I think he's the real deal.
I mean, will he get playing time? Is it worth for me to keep him on my roster, or should I move him? What should I do with Casey?
He's going to be the opening day second baseman, I think.
Okay, and you think he'll be Rookie of the Year?
I think he'll be in the up near the top of the voting. I mean, it's tough. I love Wyatt Langford
Yeah,
in Texas, but
that's why I asked you is where does he
Evan
play in the outfield?
Evan Carter in Texas is
Evan
just
Carter,
as
another young outfielder too.
um,
I like Wyatt better than Evan though.
Wyatt is toolsier, but Evan's already proven it. Didn't he go almost 2020 last year? So, and he was
Yeah.
awesome in the playoffs. Um, you got, let's
So
see, who else?
who's your rookie of the year next? Who's your rookie of the year in the National League, American League?
In the American League, Wyatt Langford.
Okay, there you go. National League.
Shoto Imanaga.
Ooh, I like that prediction. I'll go Yamamoto in the National League. It's not bold, I know, but I just feel he has filthy stuff. He hit a bad start. It's fine. It's not a big deal. In the American League, I kind of like Jack. I like Jackson Holiday. I'm going to take him. I think he's shown so much, and I just feel I know it's not that bold, but I just feel he's going to have a big year if they let him play. I don't know if they're going to let him play. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, I also like Paul Skeens in Pittsburgh when he gets up if
Yeah,
he pitches well. But if he
yeah.
gets
Did you
hurt, like
see?
he strikes me as
He
a
was
Tommy John waiting to happen.
he was kind of upset that the
Ooh,
Pirates already announced that he's not going to be on the roster on opening day. He wasn't
yeah,
happy about it, and I get
yeah,
it. I mean, he in spring training he's been killing it,
yeah. Uncle
and
Ted,
I thought
I go ahead. I was going to say, Uncle Ted, I like your pick. Jung Hoo Lee is an interesting choice, the center fielder out there in San Francisco. He certainly could,
oof.
but it's bold. It's interesting.
It's bold. I'm worried about his hitting. We'll see. We'll see what he hits. He's a Korean. I know who he is. I mean,
You
but
got Jackson Churio in Milwaukee.
in
You
Milwaukee,
have
he's already announced the center fielder he's starting.
you got Jackson Merrill, the center fielder now in San Diego. You got some good players. You got um, James Wood, who might be up with there in Washington, who's a stud. I'm blanking on the other outfielder. Uncle Ted, you'll tell me for Washington who's going to be up. Who is it? Drew? I'm blanking on his name. Another great young player coming up.
I know. I know you're talking about. He's been talked about. Also,
Um,
like Internacio Stand, I think
does he still qualify?
doesn't qualify Rookie of the Year, but I'm thinking more like maybe MVP. We'll see what happens. I don't know. Bold prediction: MVP Internacio Stand over
Nice.
for Ronald
Dylan Cruz,
Acuna.
that's his name. Dylan Cruz
Yeah,
is the other outfielder there in Washington, who's a stud. So I mean, you got Junior Caminero. He would be a bold prediction. The third baseman in
I
Tampa
love
Bay.
him. I don't know if he'll win the majors to start, but I think he's the real deal. I've been drafting him in a lot of my leagues.
People compare Colson Montgomery, the shortstop in the White Sox organization, to Corey Seager. If he comes up and is Seager-esque, that's pretty impressive too. So,
Yeah, and there's so
I
much
mean,
young talent this year. I'm so excited.
rookies
I can't wait.
now that the CBA encourages teams to promote, it just makes these young players so much more fun.
I agree.
All right, so what else you got?
Geez, more stuff.
Well, I don't have any.
James Outman of the Dodgers is going to have 30 home runs. How about that?
Wow.
I feel for the Dodgers. I know I'm
Yeah,
picking a lot of Dodgers, but it's just they have so much talent, and there's so much
they're
talent
so
that's not
deep.
being talked about.
Yeah.
And these players that are hitting behind the superstars are going to have huge years. I mean, that's what people don't understand. It's gonna be huge.
How about Max Meyer, the pitcher in Miami, ends up a league
Never heard of
winner
him.
because of all the injuries to that rotation?
Max, oh yeah, he pitched last year, didn't he?
A little bit. He's been hurt, Tommy John and stuff.
How about Max Fried winning 20 games? How about that one?
I think it's brilliant. I don't know if it's bold, but I like it. I think it could happen. Yeah. I mean, Atlanta's
Yeah,
such a good team, and Fried is a guy who keeps you in every game he's in. So,
do you think Ronald Acuna will repeat as MVP in the National League?
I don't think he can repeat what he did. I don't know if that, but I think he's certainly the favorite again to win the MVP if he stays healthy. I mean, he's the most legitimate superstar, I think, power speed fielder there is in baseball right now.
I agree with you.
He's the closest to Mike Trout since Mike Trout.
I mean, if you want to, ask me questions about MVPs or Cy Youngs or rookie. I mean, I gave most of my bold predictions.
Yeah.
A bold prediction out right now. I wish I had some. I mean, I can predict more stuff, but I gave you my boldest predictions right now.
Who do you think? Which team do you think is going to overachieve the most this season compared to what everybody's saying about?
I like Detroit. I like Kansas City in the National League. I like the Marlins because that pitching staff, if they get healthy kind of quick, I think they'll do okay. And
Okay.
like I said, I'm a Reds fan. I think they'll win 90 something games this year just because they're hitting and they
All
have.
right. Who do you think is going to underachieve the most?
I'm going to say this just because it's bold predictions. I'm going to say the Dodgers because everybody's predicting over 100 wins. I hope they finish like 500. That'd be the best. And Roberts loses his job. But I mean, underachieve in the National League. I got to go with the Mets if anybody predicts them to win. And I'll say Arizona was in the World Series last year. I'd say they had their season last year. I don't think they'll have a great season this year. That's me.
Yeah, I mean, I loved the Diamondbacks. They're young, they're exciting, but
yeah,
it
I
did
don't
seem
think
like
they can repeat.
right,
I think
especially against the Giants, the Goliaths. I shouldn't say the Giants, the Goliaths that they're going up against.
Yeah,
okay, what about the American League? Who's the underachiever in the American League?
You'll get mad. I'm going to say the Yankees.
Oh, that's
all Yankee fans always think you guys will win the World Series. I'm not going to say Baltimore because I'm kind of rooting for them. I like the youth. I just like the whole youth movement during and all the young players they have playing for them. So yeah. I'm going to go to the West. I'm going to say Texas Rangers. They won the World Series last year.
I agree.
I don't think they'll win their division next year. I mean, we'll see what happens, but I mean,
hey, I don't think they're going to make the playoffs. Remember?
I mean, Houston improved a lot. I mean, they got a lot of pitching. They got some more relief pitching. I mean, Hader. I mean, they got some big guns in Houston. I mean,
yeah, that bullpen is nasty.
I mean, they got 5 guys that can close. I mean, it's that bullpen. I still think the Reds in 1990 is better, but they're giving the Nasty Boys a run for their money.
All right, so you're saying the Reds are in the World Series next year. Who are they playing?
The Reds, this is bold predictions. This is not the real predictions. This is bold predictions.
Right.
Say with me, bold predictions. I see the Reds, the bold prediction, Reds will play, drum roll please. It's a bold prediction. I'm not going to say Houston or Baltimore and give a bold prediction one.
I'm ready.
I'm going to say Seattle Mariners. How about that, Casey Scheinfeld?
I like it.
Seattle
their pitching is crazy.
It is. Look at their starters. They're Kirby and Gilbert. I mean, all these guys are just
Castillo and
Woo. I mean, these guys are monsters.
Bryce Miller.
And Bryce Miller's going to have a big year. That's another good bold prediction. Put that down. And I like Woo too.
And you love Munoz.
I think Munoz has a live arm. I think he'll do a fine job in the bullpen, and they have a few other guys too that can throw the ball. But I think Seattle is a team to watch out for. And I know that it's not the class like Houston and Baltimore. I get it. If you want to take a blue collar team, I would take the Seattle Mariners.
There you go. I'll go bold. Although the Phillies have been in the NLCS.
Okay.
I'm going to say the Phillies and the Twins.
See the Central is that bold prediction. A good bold prediction.
I just think the Twins have an easy path to the playoffs with the division they're in. I understand it's not easy, but it's easier. And when you can throw Pablo Lopez and I love Bailey Ober and some of their pitchers, and then they have Joan Duran at the end of that bullpen. So
Joe Ryan, I mean, they have some good guns. I agree with you.
I think they're one of those teams that can shock the world. And trying to play in Minnesota when it's like 30 degrees in October, that's a home field advantage. It could be snowing in the World Series.
How good is Royce Lewis?
Oh, the kid's a stud. It's whether he stays healthy.
He had how many grand slams in the month of September? 5? I mean,
I don't know what it was, but I just remember it was ridiculous.
It was like he had like 14 games and 5 grand slams. Ted, look up that stat. See if I'm right.
I'll look it up for next week. But if Buxton stays healthy, that's a big if. I get it.
He's not Casey. How many times have I told you don't draft?
I think
Buxton?
Max Kepler is underrated. I like the squad. So
I think anybody in that division can win. I just think it's a bunch of teams that have almost the same talent level.
Well, we should write all this down.
I do like Royce Lewis though. I'm curious to see what he does.
Carlos
this year.
Correa.
Yeah, but Royce Lewis to me is like the most questionable player in Major League Baseball. You don't know what to expect from this kid.
If he's healthy, yeah.
You don't know if he's healthy. He hasn't played that much. He's barely in the Major League Baseball when he's healthy. You're looking at Little League stats. What's going on with Royce Lewis? I mean, he started out. He's a monster right now. To me, that I would draft in like round 3 in fantasy baseball, but I don't know what to expect. I have no idea. No, my hands are up.
Okay. Well, I think we're all predicted out. So
I'm all predicted out. I gave everything I had. Next week, Casey, we're starting baseball season practically.
I think the baseball season starts next weekend. I don't think it starts till next weekend.
Okay. You should start.
So I know Uncle Ted has asked us a few times to go over our rosters and our drafts in the Fantrax Dynasty League that we're all doing. So maybe next Thursday, let's do that. We'll go over your roster, my roster, Dan's roster. We'll look at Uncle Ted's, and we'll try to stroke his ego and tell him why he's so superior.
Why his team's so great.
That's what he wants to hear. So we'll tell him
why he drafted so great. And then we'll just criticize his team like crazy.
It's great because we have the mic and the camera, so we can tease him, and he can't really do anything about it.
He'll be typing as fast as he can and not seeing his type.
That's right, and we'll just ignore it. So, all right, Ross.
Let's give some quick updates in basketball.
Oh, you're going to give some basketball updates? I was going to tell you to just go watch it. So you give the updates, then I'm leaving to watch it.
651 Illinois over Morehead State. Oregon, who I predicted to win their game, they're winning 34-29. And then Dayton is up by 4 points over Nevada with 7 minutes left. So there you go.
All right. Well, the next 2 days are my favorite days of basketball in the world. So I can't wait to watch the first weekend.
Really quick, who are you taking to win it all? Go.
Oh, I don't even remember. You want me to look?
No, just give me. I took North Carolina in one. I took Connecticut in the other.
Who do I have in mind?
I think you took Wagner, didn't you? Or
BYU? I should have. Who did I take to win it? I took Purdue to win it all.
Okay.
Over Arizona.
Yep.
So there you go.
That's a bold prediction. I'm Ross the Boss. Casey, thanks for leading us today. Great job like usual. And we'll see everybody next Thursday. And then we're going to start our Tuesday shows in 2 weeks, the waiver wire, because we have nothing to waiver yet because the league hasn't started. Teams haven't played yet.
But we'll keep you up to date. All right, guys. Enjoy March Madness, and we'll see you next